Welcome to the Chasing Ebenezer show. This is a show where we talk about stuff, play you some music, and encourage you to be creative. This season, we are exploring the art of being human. We want to say thank you to our patrons who support us each month. If you want to know more about that, visit us on patreon.com/Chasing Ebenezer. For more information about our musical endeavors, visit chasingebenezer.com. We hope you enjoy the show.
Well, welcome to the Chasing Ebenezer show, where we're clearly trying to have good posture today.
We are. I'm doing my
best.
best.
You can see us. If you can hear us, imagine. But for some reason, we have both.
Slouching is so easy to do, though. It's so comfortable.
So easy to do.
And I know like the long-term reasons, but I honestly think people who watch other people slouch just feel like they're not being listened to. And that's why posture is such an important thing. But that's not what this show's about.
Well, not really. I'm Heidi, and this is Benjamin, and we're here for another week of talking about creativity and playing music and encouraging you to create. So.
Yes.
And last week, if you haven't listened to last week, we really would encourage you to go back.
Absolutely.
And we talked about sleep, and this week we're talking about rest. And so they're kind of connected, but they're not the same. So, I mean, last week we talked about me wetting my bed and you sucking your thumb.
I did.
So you
Who knows what we're going to talk about today?
You don't want to miss it. So go back and listen to last week's episode.
Well, thinking about dreams, I had a strange dream yesterday. I dreamed that, because I have plugs in my ears, you know.
Like gauges. But I dreamed that like I resized my ears to like this big. It was almost like I could put like one of those like little bathroom stoppers in my ears. Like a drain
stopper? I
for
dreamed
your
that. It
ears?
was kind of interesting.
Oh, that'd be a cool new trend.
I can't explore
Drain
the
stoppers.
symbolism of that dream, but that was a dream I had. Yeah. So what are you, we do this every show, or try to, things that we're excited about. So what are some things that you're excited about right now?
Well, I hadn't really thought much about it, even though I knew it was coming. I have a watercolor piece I was working on for last week that I'm excited about it. I'll try to show you when I'm done. I don't do a lot of watercolor, so I'm really working at new types of paint mediums, and I am also excited because it's not 1,000 degrees outside, and it's very crisp.
Yes.
It's like crispy air. Like potato chip crispiness.
Like potato
salt
chip
and vinegar
crispiness.
to be exact.
Oh.
That's my favorite flavor.
It's mine
I never
too.
had salt and vinegar chips till I met you.
We don't have them in the house very often
because they're gone in a day.
Here's the deal. I think Pringles was really smart in making tubes, because anybody else realizes those tubes, you can drink those things.
Oh, I can just have them in, I'm gone. Boom. So.
Yeah. But if Pringles made bags, I think the unhealth rate in America would just skyrocket. It's a good stopper.
Well, that's why you just buy 2 tubes.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You just buy another tube.
You're getting groceries tomorrow, right?
So yes.
So you're excited about watercolors and good
watercolors
weather.
And salt and vinegar air. You know,
salt and
crispy
vinegar air.
Yes.
I love it. Well, I'm really excited because I started listening on Audible to a book called Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, and it's been really good. It's a book that talks about the nature of plants and science combined with heritage of the First Nations people. And it's just been giving me a really great perspective and appreciation for it all. So I'm enjoying. I just started listening to it, so it's going to be going on blast in my car for a while. So I'm enjoying that, and I'm also excited that spoiler alert, I get to play you all a newer song at the end of the show. So I always like having new songs. I wish every week was a new song, but then I wouldn't get good at any of the songs I wrote. So what about since this is the art of being human? How did you feel your humanity this week? Maybe you're feeling it right now.
Since you asked me, I started feeling very human just now. Why don't you go first, and I'll think about it. Or maybe you don't even know
I don't.
the answer
That's why
to that question.
I ask you first so I don't have to answer first.
Okay, well, I'm not a super organized person. I'm not a tidy person. And some of you are a very organized person, but I get really overwhelmed, and we've been trying to move things temporarily, some things to a storage unit, because in case you hadn't heard, the housing market in Portland sucks. So we're trying to do a transition phase, and putting some things that we don't use as much into a storage unit. And I'm just not good at any of this kind of stuff, and I'm really good at making messes, but I'm not very good at cleaning them up, or I just get overwhelmed. And that's really hard for me. It feels like some people are so good at it and so tidy, and so then I feel bad about myself. So
I'm sorry that you're feeling bad about yourself.
I do feel bad about myself. So so I know that a lot of people struggle with that. So
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm feeling it. I recognized it this morning because I really like to feel motivated for things. And I'm sure you people listening do too. And it will go into creativity. It'll go into your work, your exercise. I mean, when you feel like going to the gym,
yep,
you're ready to go and conquer the world.
go.
But then after you've gone for a couple weeks, or if you haven't gone for a week and you're making that dreaded return,
Ugh.
all of a sudden you don't feel like it so much, and then you sometimes can take that as an indicator of not going.
I don't
And
wanna
so
go.
I'm recognizing that being faithful to things that are really important to me helps cultivate the feelings versus waiting for the feelings so that I can do the thing.
Well, and I feel like too, when I'm motivated to just do something, I can't.
Mm.
Like, I'll have an appointment that I
see
need
what
to
you're
do.
saying,
I'm like,
yeah.
I want to go to the gym right now, or I want to finish this art piece right now, but I can't because I have to go to the dentist. It's like I'm always motivated when I'm not able to do it.
You must lead a pretty frustrating life.
You mean frustrating other people or feeling
It depends on how you look at it. I don't know.
So, yeah, that's how I often find that I'm motivated to do it when I can't do it. But then when I actually have time, like, well, now I don't feel like it.
Yep. I totally understand that.
Oh,
Totally understand that. Well, hopefully maybe you can share a little bit of how you're experiencing your humanity. That's really hard to say. Your humanity this week. We're going to be shifting to talk about rest. Are you ready to talk about rest?
I really do like resting.
Yeah.
Sleeping, I hate, as if you heard last week, but resting, I do like. But I do feel guilty sometimes when I do it. Like I'm being...
Say more words to that.
Well, it feels like I'm doing something naughty, like playing hooky, Like there's so much to be done. And so then I feel kind of guilty. But I do really like it. So it's easier to just, you know what I always say, I'm resting my eyes. I'm not sleeping, I'm resting my eyes.
That's called sleep denial is what that is.
So yes, I'm ready to talk about resting.
All right. So when we talk about rest, trying to think through, we talked about sleep like you said last week. What would you say is the difference between rest and sleep? Since you hate sleep and like rest, what's the difference?
Yes, right now, if you're watching, you can see that I'm resting my eyes. I thought that was funny.
It was funny the first time you said it.
You know what? Look, person next to me. So I am not a professional, but what I would say is that sleep is for kind of resting the actual body. I mean, it does rest all of you. Like sleep is definitely for the body, but rest, I would say, is for nourishing your soul and your personhood.
Okay.
Didn't that sound like a good answer?
That sounded really, really good. We're not professional counselors. We're not counselors
or
even scientists. So we're giving you our perspective for what it's worth. I think that's a really good contrast, though, because sometimes sleep is rest.
Yes.
But not always. And sometimes rest involves sleep, but not always. The idea of your soul getting restored. I really like that.
Especially if you have nightmares, then it can be very stressful to sleep. So.
Or stress mares, as we talked about last week. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good word. I think rest carries the idea of restoring something. I'm a big fan of like how words, like what words come from other words. So restore, and very often the word rest and the word relief, I think, get mixed up too.
Oh, yes.
Because relief is trying to make something stop, which is a part of
Oh,
rest.
yes, that's true.
You stop work, you stop the things that are bringing you stress, you cease, but relief is just a first step. And if that is all that we're after, then we're not going to get restored. We're going to actually just be coming up for air before we just dive in again. And I think a lot of us live that way. The
Yes.
weekend is great, but there's a lot of pressure on the weekend, especially if you work a regular job where you are 9 to 5 or 10 to 10, whatever, Monday through Friday. You have 2 days to recoup and gear up. And that's a lot of pressure. Most of us just get to the relief stage, probably, I think, by then.
Yeah, I mean, you and I don't have that kind of a
No,
schedule.
we don't,
So
and we're tired all the time. I don't know, go figure.
Right, so we try to take one day off a week, but yeah, the world has changed so much. So yeah, that's a very good, very, very insightful.
Well, there's an author that I like named John Eldridge, and one of the things, I don't remember where he said it, but at one point he was talking about how 2 weeks is what most of us like gear ourselves up towards and expect those 2 weeks to meet every need.
Like a year,
Worth of struggle. And so rest is something that we need a regular practice of to do that. So, yeah. Do you have any other thoughts about the difference between rest and sleep or rest and relief?
I don't, but I will let you know if I have any more insights because
Okay.
I thought that was a really because I think oftentimes the word relief we think of like fire relief or flood relief, or it's usually because there's a crisis.
Yeah.
But rest should be a rhythm. It shouldn't just be when there's a crisis, just to get you down to a non-crisis level. That generally only brings the stress barometer down, but so much. But rest, if you look at Sabbath rituals,
Yes.
it's supposed to be kind of like a weekly thing because we need it. But yes, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I thought about Sabbath earlier today. If you want a good book to read on Sabbath, Walter Brueggemann's Sabbath is Resistance is a good book to check out.
I always get him confused with Walter Brimley.
They're not the same person. They're not the same person at all. But like, even if you read the Bible, like Sabbath was a big deal to God. It was like, this is a day that you intentionally stop like tons of stuff. And some of my Jewish friends could probably shed more light on this, but it was, no work. And in the Exodus, you don't collect extra food for yourself during that time, because for all of us people who are productivity people, not me, it can be, oh, now I have all this time to get more things done. And
That's how I act.
Right, it's not how I act. It's like, nope, we're going to stop. And I think our culture even makes it so that we rest so we can go like crazy again. It's kind of an abusive cycle, I think, that we're taught to slow down, like you said, just enough to not die.
Right.
Just so you can keep going. And that's
probably not a good idea.
No, not at all. Not at all. So we know that for everybody, resting can take on very, very different forms and different activities, but some of us need help getting started. So for you, Heidi, what are some things that you find restful? Not relief, and obviously not sleep, since you hate that. Restful.
That was my tongue, not my butt, by the way.
For those of you listening, in case there was some
confusion. In case you can't see. That was not my rear end making that noise. Well, I do enjoy binge watching television, and I'm just going to be proud about it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But sometimes, I think with any of these things, you really have to know yourself and ask, why am I doing this? So here's the thing. Sometimes I really like going somewhere for the weekend, or like going on a trip. That's what you call it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like I just came out of a bunker. Sometimes though, it is so stressful.
Especially the leaving part.
The leaving part, it takes a
Yes.
whole day for me to get packed and to clean and get the checklist, make sure that the cats aren't going to die. And so sometimes it's not restful to go
Right.
away. So honestly, sometimes it's really nice to get out of town and go do something. Painting is super restful for me. I think here's what I would say about art for resting. I think for me, when you get to the editing phase, then it's not restful. Like if it's something I'm writing or
Yeah.
anything, those polishing, that is not restful for me. So I almost have to let the restful be the play type of portion of the creating.
Okay.
Because it's that last 10% that I hate.
That makes sense.
I hate it. I feel like I heard Gollum's voice in my head, like, I hate it.
So what you're telling me is that you don't like editing.
I hate editing. Hate it. Hades.
Okay.
In case that wasn't clear.
I think I got it.
There you go.
Yeah, for me, I think that going out in nature is a really big way that I rest. It restores my soul. I got to go to Beacon Rock on Monday, which for those of you who don't live in the Northwest, Google that. That's where I got to go. It was awesome. So, that really restores my soul. I think sometimes meeting with close friends restores my soul. Reading books definitely does. And like you, binge watching TV does. Now, you said something really, really key for any of these activities, asking why you do it. Because, like you said, sometimes going to the woods isn't a restful thing because, like you, me just trying to make the time to get out is just stressful. I get really stressed out trying to make sure I cover all my bases. Playing music, though very restorative for me, can be not restful if I'm trying to meet a deadline or get something done or being productive. So I think the motive is such a key ingredient in this whole thing. In any activity, as you look to rest, ask yourself, am I doing this for accomplishment's sake, or am I doing this? I think the word play, I think that's a great word for that. So maybe you can list some of the ways that you, quote unquote, play to restore your soul. I think that's a really good thing. What about prompts? Are you dancing to restore your soul right now?
This is a shimmy. I'm not dancing. This is a shoulder
For people
shimmy.
like me who are afraid of dancing, that's dancing.
But it's a shoulder shimmy. I'm not dancing.
A shoulder shimmy.
That's what it's called. That's what it's called, guys.
I love it.
I
love it.
If you're out there in audio only land, then it's probably a good thing you're missing this visual awkwardness.
It's wonderful.
I often forget that there are people in the world and that I'm not the only one. And yeah.
It's okay.
Sorry, play. Yes, play away. Because I think that kids, they love to play.
Absolutely.
They love to play. So, most of them do. To be honest, I was more of a television watcher when I was a child. Unfortunately, I became addicted at a very young age.
As did I.
So I'm aware of it. But in general, kids really enjoy playing and they live for that. So
yeah,
it's important.
So how are we inviting people to rest this week and play? What are some prompts for that?
Well, you can go to patreon.com for free and print out your new weekly journaling sheet. And I would just encourage you to see if you can take a whole day off of restedness.
Wow. So you mean take a day off, not so you can get more things done.
I know.
But just for restedness.
Just for resting.
Okay.
Or things that are restful to you. And it's not a law. Okay, let's
because that can be really stressful trying to rest.
So, if you want to do your dishes, that's fine too. If you want to do some laundry, do that too. But, use the day for resting. And then maybe journal about it. How did you feel? Or what was hard about it? Or what was good about it? And I didn't have a whole lot of things for today.
Well, that's good. That gives people a chance
Not
to rest
too
rather than
many
checking things off the
Maybe
prompt
you
list.
could paint a picture, draw a picture of what rest looks like to you. And that could be...
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And share that. Share that on our page.
Yes,
share
do
that
that.
with us because we'd love to know what you're creating and how this is helping you. So the song that we're going to do, it's a new song, newish song. I played a version of it last season, but I'm really excited about this version. It's called Heaven's Land, and it's the idea of being in a place, looking for a place that isn't about striving, it isn't about exploiting people, it isn't about greed. So that's what the song's about. Can't wait to play it for you. We love you, and we will see you next week. Bye. Oh, I dream, yes, I dream of a place not built by the bones of men, outside the reach of coin and thief, lies a piece of heaven's land. He now who made you king didn't speak the earth into breath and being. Oh, write the song these sweet birds sing. Let the wildness be. Ooh, ooh. So tight it gives, attached to strings, choking life, clipping wings, reduce the earth to mere commodity. Oh, I dream, yes, I dream of a place not built by the bones of men, outside the reach of coin and thief, lies a piece of heaven's land. Ooh, ooh. Imagine life where it's you and me, not us or them, enemies. Close your eyes, tell me what you see. Is it more than democracy? Can't legalize a change of heart, brokenness where we have to start. Open up the wound and clean it out. Oh, I dream, yes, I dream of a place not built by the bones of men, outside the reach of coin and thief, lies a piece of heaven's land. Oh, I dream, yes, I dream of a place not built by the bones of men, outside the reach of coin and thief, lies a piece of heaven's land. Oh, I dream of a place not built by the bones of men, outside the reach of coin and thief, lies a piece of